Artemis Project. It's time to use your dice to help colonize a moon of Jupiter. Let's get into it. Alright, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy, and today I'm doing a Kickstarter preview for the Artemis Project, which should be on Kickstarter right now. So if what you see in this video gets you excited, then you can go online, back this game, and hopefully get this in the mail not too long, and then you'll see why I like this game so much. The Artemis Project is my kind of game. I like games that are dice worker placement. If you like games like Alien Frontiers, where you get to roll dice, go to various locations, get resources, complete jobs, score victory points, then you're probably going to love this game like I did. The Artemis Project is a little different though, and that all shines through with these dice and how you get to use them in the game. So at the beginning of the round, everybody rolls their dice, and these are the dice that you're going to be able to use for the round. The values, you can change these a little bit if you get some of these tool cards, and that lets you go up or down a value on the die, but that's really the only way that you can change the values. So what are you going to do with those dice? You are going to go around the board, and there's 6 or 7 different locations that you can go to. But at the beginning of the round, they're going to reveal a new event card, and this is going to change something or some location on the board. There's a bunch of these, you shuffle them up, you pull out 6, and this is going to be your game. The game plays out over 6 rounds, about an hour, hour and a half. The first spot I want to talk about are the expeditions, and these are cards that tell you a value that needs to be placed on it before the end of the round, and if you get that value, then you are going to complete that expedition. You'll get a token that says I did the thing and I completed the expedition, but then you'll also have your choice of 2 rewards at the bottom of this card, and the person who put the highest number on here gets to choose which reward they want. And of course, if you put both dice on there, then you get both of the rewards. Then as you move around the board, there's a couple other locations, and these have to do with resources. There's energy and minerals in the game. So energy and minerals are created at the beginning of the round. You're going to roll these resource dice, and these I loved and I hated these dice because how many of these resources that you get on each round are randomly generated by the dice, and that could be amazing or that could be really bad. And there's even an event card in here that says you have to lose a die when you're generating resources. So that could be really, really difficult on some rounds to get the resources that you want. So you're going to roll these dice for the energy and the minerals. And now here's where the interesting gameplay comes in with the dice. So maybe like in Alien Frontiers, if you went to a location, you got a certain amount of resources based off of whatever value was on the die. Well, in the Artemis Project, what they do that's unique is whatever value you put out there is the amount of resources that you get, as long as nobody, goes in front of you. So let's say that I put out a 5. I could get 5 of these resources. That's amazing. But if somebody comes along with a 4, then they are going to go in front of me. They kind of bump me down. And then if somebody else came along with, let's say, a 3, they would get bumped as well. And so then at the end of the round, you're going to divvy out rewards based off of turn order. So the 3 goes here, the 4 goes there, and me with my 5, I don't get anything. So you don't want to be too greedy, because if you throw out a big number, people might push you out of the way and then it might not make it to you. That's the same thing with energy and minerals, and I really like that mechanism. It makes a large number die. Maybe that's not always beneficial to you. It could be maybe later in the round, but if you play that right up at the front, I don't know if that's going to help you or not. And then the next thing that they have are these buildings, and these come out, and you're going to place dice in these areas. Whatever number that you place on there, that's how much you're going to have to pay to get that building. So if you really, really wanted that building, you could pay a higher number, and you could also outbid someone. So I bid a 2, somebody could come along here and bid a 5, and I get bumped off. And so now they're going to get that building. And they do have consolation prizes, I guess. If you get bumped off or you don't have a place to use your die, then you could go up on this track, which is going to give you things like tools and resources and eventually even a victory point. So there is something to do if you can't do anything else. Then there are 2 locations on the board that have to do with colonists. And colonists are needed to power up or to staff your buildings. And so some of these buildings that you get, require certain colored colonists. And so you might need a red or a blue or brown or whatever, purple. You might need those to get the best benefit out of these buildings. And so these couple locations, this first one here just says that you get to pick out of any of the colonists that are there on that round. There's a random bag. You're going to be filling this up. And so you could use a low number here and get to go first. But you're only going to maybe get one guy. You use a high number, you're going to get more, but you're going to have to go last. So same kind of deal. Somebody could come along, take all these guys, and then maybe you're left with this one that you didn't even want in the first place. And then there's another location here where it's kind of like training. You could come here, you could turn in this brown worker that you didn't want, and you could come home with a blue worker. And so this allows you to, based off the number that you put out there, change one worker colonist into another colonist. And so then those have to be placed out onto the board into a couple different areas. So you could either put them into a shelter, but if they're here at the end of the round, you're going to have to pay an energy to keep them alive. Or you really want to put them into these buildings. And this is where they've created an engine building version of the game. So you're going to take these colonists and put them into these buildings. If these are fully staffed at the end of the round, then you get to use the benefit that they give you. And this really stacks on top of things. So you could get a whole bunch of buildings that do a whole lot of cool things and combo it to be able to do more, score victory points, all that kind of stuff. And so those are the locations on the board. There's only one other location. That's where you get these tool cards. And I told you about those. Those allow you to change the die value up or down one. So that's it. That's the whole game. And so it plays out over a number of rounds, 6 rounds. And at the end, whoever has the most victory points wins. But you're going to get victory points from the buildings that you build. Some of these have end game bonus points. You're going to get victory points from sets of colonists that you've collected. And so there's a few different ways at the end of the game to score victory points. And so as the game progresses, you're going to slowly move up scoring victory points, but then near the end it really ramps up, and that makes it a lot of fun as the game progresses. And so like I said, this is my kind of game. I love this kind of game. It's simple to understand, but there are a lot of interesting decisions along the way. So as long as people know what each one of these locations do, they can place their dice as they want, but then you get to watch it play out over a round. And that's what I really like. It's not just, oh, he beat me to that location and now he gets to do the thing, but now I get to see how that plays out. And so there's strategy in that you have to kind of think through and look around the board a little bit, see what everybody else is doing, and then that kind of allows you to play it out, see how it works, and hopefully do the best that you can with the dice that you are given. I really like it. I think you're going to love it. If this sounds like anything that you would be interested in, I don't know how you could be disappointed in this one. They've done a lot of work. Artwork on this looks incredible. I know they're going to do a good job with the components. It's going to be a well-run Kickstarter. They know what they're doing. And so if you're interested in this, I highly recommend that you check out the Artemis Project.